Team USA have ascended on Paris for the Paralympics with an impressive roster. Of the 220 athletes, 141 are returning Paralympians, including 52 gold medal winners. The team of exactly 110 men and 110 women are quite experienced, with 3 6-time Paralympians, 4 5-time Paralympians, and 8 4-time Paralympians. About a third of the team are making their debut in Paris, which will feature 22 sports and 549 medal events. Team USA's youngest athlete is 15-year-old Cedar Park, Texas archer Jordan White, who was born with congenital femoral deficiency. Shooter Marco De La Rosa is the oldest at 52. The Chicago native was attempting to stop a robbery when he was shot in the back and paralyzed. More than half of Team USA are current or former college athletes, while 45 identify as parents, including 14 mothers and 31 fathers. Here are 10 Team USA athletes to watch. Oksana Masters was born in Ukraine in 1989 with multiple birth defects caused by the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Abandoned by her birth parents, she grew up in orphanages until American college professor Gay Masters adopted her. Growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, Masters began adaptive rowing at 13, around the same time of her second leg amputation. She won bronze in rowing at the 2012 Paralympics in London, but had to give up the sport after a back injury. So Oksana took up cross-country skiing and has since become Team USA's most decorated winter Paralympian in history. Masters also returned to the Summer Games as a cyclist and won 2 golds in Tokyo. Her medal total is 17 across the Summer and Winter Games. Masters' boyfriend is Aaron Pike, also a summer and winter Paralympic star in wheelchair racing and biathlon and cross-country skiing. Paris will be table tennis player Tahl Leibovitz's 7th Paralympics. The 49-year-old won gold back in 1996 at the Paralympics in Atlanta and has won 2 bronzes since. Leibovitz was born in New York City to parents who struggled with mental illness and substance abuse, and he was forced to live on the streets at a young age. Tahl has a 1 in 5 million condition called osteochondroma, which means he has benign tumors surrounding his body. The 2 in his spine are especially painful. He first learned table tennis at the Boys and Girls Club in Queens. He's fought for every opportunity and graduated from NYU and works as a clinical social worker in the city, helping marginalized individuals. Leibovitz is in the USA Table Tennis Hall of Fame and wrote a best-selling instructional book. Tahl hopes to finish his Paralympics journey where it started, in his home country, at the Los Angeles Games in 2028. Wheelchair rugby is a mixed-gender sport at the Paralympics, but Team USA has never had a woman on the team, until now. Sarah Adam will make history in Paris as America battles for gold after taking home silver in Rio and Tokyo. Amazingly, Adam discovered wheelchair rugby as an able-bodied athlete studying occupational therapy at the University of St. Louis, who joined a local team for research. Later, while in grad school, Adam was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and classified into the sport. Because she's smaller than her teammates and opponents, Adam leans into the strategy of wheelchair rugby and has become a dominant ball carrier. Adam later returned to St. Louis University as a professor. Since it debuted at the 2000 Paralympics in Sydney, only 5 women have competed in wheelchair rugby. Abbas Karimi was born without arms in Kabul, Afghanistan. He started swimming early and won a national championship in Afghanistan at 13. However, at 16, Karimi was forced to flee to a refugee camp in Turkey to escape the Taliban. Traveling was complicated, but he slowly began competing on a national stage and eventually swam in Tokyo on the Refugee Paralympic Team, finishing 8th in the 50-meter butterfly S5. Abbas, who also swims freestyle and backstroke, moved to Portland in 2016 and Fort Lauderdale in 2019 and became a U.S. citizen in 2022. Karimi set a world record in the mixed medley relay at the 2022 World Para Swimming Championships and hopes to keep up the momentum in Paris. With 29 Paralympic medals, including 16 golds, Jessica Long is the second most decorated Team USA Paralympian in history. Tricia Zorn Hudson, also a swimmer, won 55. including 41 golds over 7 Paralympics, retiring after Athens in 2004. She also made history as the first visually impaired athlete to earn a Division I scholarship as a 4-year All-American backstroker at Nebraska. As for Long, she was born in Russia to teenagers and given up for adoption to Baltimore parents at 13 months. 5 months later, her lower legs were amputated due to fibular hemimelia. Long competed in a variety of sports but gravitated towards swimming from her time in her grandparents' pool. She first started competing at 10 and made her Paralympic debut in Athens at just 12, winning gold in the 100-meter and 400-meter freestyle and the 4x100-meter freestyle relay. In 2014, Long made a documentary about tracking down her biological parents. And Toyota once told her story in a Super Bowl commercial. Tyler Merren will compete in his 5th Paralympics in Paris as a star on Team USA's goalball team. Goalball is a 3-on-3 game created for visually impaired athletes who compete by throwing a ball with bells inside into an opponent's goal. Usually played on a volleyball court, goalball was added to the Paralympics in 1976 in Tokyo. Merren won bronze with Team USA in Athens in 2004, silver in 2016 in Rio, and finished 4th in 2008 in Beijing and 2020 in Tokyo. The 40-year-old Michigan native and his wife, who is also visually impaired and plays goalball, are both coached by their son Mason, who is sighted. Tatyana McFadden was born in the Soviet Union in 1989 with spina bifida, which paralyzed her from the waist down. She was abandoned at an orphanage without a wheelchair and learned to walk on her hands. The Commissioner of Disabilities for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services adopted her, and she moved to Baltimore, where she began competing in track and field at 8. McFadden debuted at the Paralympics in Athens in 2004, winning silver in the 100-meter and bronze in the 200-meter T54. Tatyana has since competed in 5 more Paralympics, including the Winter Games in Sochi in 2014 as a Nordic skier. McFadden has won 20 Paralympic medals and could become the most winning American for track and field in Paris. She also co-produced and starred in the Netflix documentary Rising Phoenix and runs the Tatyana McFadden Foundation to support youth with disabilities by providing them racing chairs. In 2012, McFadden's then 16-year-old sister Hannah joined on Team USA in London, becoming the first siblings to compete in the Paralympics. Kevin Nguyen was a 20-year-old staff sergeant in the Army 3 months into his first deployment in Afghanistan when he stepped on an IED. Nguyen's boot saved him from more serious injury, but he shattered his heel and his foot needed amputated. After a period of depression, Kevin decided to return to the Army. He was stationed in the marksmanship unit at Fort Benning, Georgia. After initially coaching other shooters, he began competing in rifle shooting himself in 2015. Nguyen earned a spot on Team USA for Tokyo, where he finished 20th in the 50-meter free rifle and 36th in the 10-meter air rifle. There are 16 athletes across all of Team USA who identify as military, including 3 active duty: Nguyen, swimmer Elizabeth Marks, and fencer Jatea Taylor. When Laura Webster was 11, she was diagnosed with bone cancer in her left tibia and underwent a procedure to remove it that also meant losing her knee. Webster, who had been playing volleyball since she was 5, got a prosthetic leg and continued to compete in sports in Lincoln, Nebraska. Laura's sister, Lisa Yost, played volleyball at Nebraska, and her husband, Paul, played at the University of Delaware. Webster debuted on Team USA's sitting volleyball team in Athens in 2004 and has played in every Paralympics since, winning 2 silvers and 2 golds. She won the latter in Tokyo while pregnant with her 4th child. She was able to compete after receiving a child care grant through Allison Felix's Women's Sports Foundation. Paris will mark the 37-year-old's 6th Paralympics. David Wagner became a quadriplegic at age 21 after a beach frisbee accident in 1995. As part of his rehabilitation, he began playing table tennis, which led to regular tennis, which Wagner plays by taping the racket to his hand. By 2003, Wagner had become the top-ranked quad tennis player in the country, a title he has reclaimed several times over his career. Paris will be his 6th Paralympics, and Wagner leads All-American men with 8 Paralympic medals. Along with still playing professionally at 50, the Southern California native teaches and coaches.